Public relations, a strategic communication process that builds mutually beneficial relationships between clubs, their members, and the public. The PR for Success is designed to help you do that, with impact and towards excellence. One masterclass a month, each focused on a different aspect of public relations and geared towards immediate implementation of skills, with a WhatsApp group that provides a supportive space. Some of the things that you will learn are the power of the Toastmasters brand and effective use of the PR toolkit. What about designing ads that wow? And creating and implementing a social media plan with effective use of the media. The PR for Success program, designed for VPPRs but open to all members and designed to help you take your PR skills to the next level. Are you ready?
Greetings, fellow Toastmasters from Southern Africa and across the world. It's always so lovely to have you here. This is PR for Success, a public relations development program which is aimed at Vice Presidents, public relations, and anyone who wishes to learn about public relations within the Toastmasters context. We've come full circle here on PR for Success. In fact, the program kicked off in July 2020, where we spoke about the Toastmasters brand and the importance of upholding it in our communication. We later spoke about planning for success, why it's important to have a public relations plan and track its performance. In the month of September, we spoke about using personal stories to sell the benefits of Toastmasters. We later spoke about getting the word out and letting our communities know about Toastmasters. We ended off the calendar year speaking about social media and how to use it for maximum impact. The first half of this calendar year was all about membership, how to attract members at our club. And so we had 3 consecutive masterclasses focusing on just that. And then we moved on to the what, where, and how of public relations, how to take all this knowledge and use it in your personal and professional life. We ended off last month speaking about setting your successor up for success. As we prepare to hand the baton over to our successors, it's very important that we have a plan on how we're going to do it, and most importantly, execute on it so that we can set our successor up for success. Tonight, we bring all these masterclasses together as we reflect on the year that was on PR for Success program. I'm so excited about this one. So let's get started, Toastmasters. PR for Success is all about training and development. And right here in District 74, we have a leader who's responsible for training and development. He is our Learning and Development Director, or as we call him in Toastmasters, our Program Quality Director. And so let's welcome him on stage. Please join me in welcoming distinguished Toastmaster, our current Program Quality Director, and our incoming District Director, Njabulo Thela. Over to you, Njabulo.
A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and public relations specialists. It's such a pleasure for me to be with you this evening. I listened to the recording in preparation for the session for the very first launch event of the PR for Success program. A couple of things stood out for me. Firstly, the vision to make Toastmasters an essential service. And I think this is such a noble vision. But what was one of the things that were identified that birthed the PR for Success program? It was the fact that our PR is not consistent when it comes to branding, but also when it comes to messaging. Given that we are a multinational organization, this is a critical success element. Now, if there's a problem, leaders generally solve a problem. And guess what? Toastmasters is where leaders are made. Then this program was birthed, PR for Success. And as I was reflecting on the amazing journey that this program has been, I just thought, for this presentation, I would like to highlight and thank a few leaders who made a meaningful difference. These were the leaders who knew the way, went the way and showed the way. So firstly, I'd like to start by acknowledging our outgoing district director, the late Meryl Jabba. She believed in the program and gave her thumbs up and was there at the launch of the program. And I think that's critical for a leader to support it. So I'd like to acknowledge and thank her wherever she is. I'm sure she's smiling down on us. The second leader I would like to acknowledge is Ufani. See, Ufani has a magic wand and he just makes the production of this amazing program seamless. And Ufani, we acknowledge you, we see you, and you've done amazing work. And thank you for your contribution. I would then like to acknowledge Messi Mhlaba. You see, Messi is that glue that holds the team together. She is responsible for the implementation of the program and making implementation for success a reality. Messi, we see you, we acknowledge you, and we thank you. In his TED Talk, Derek Sivers highlights the importance of the first follower when you are starting a movement. Now, the PR for Success program manager was that person. She believed in Maud's dream and made it a reality. So, Zakia, thank you for believing in the dream. Thank you for ensuring that throughout that 10-month journey, you ensured that this happened. I mean, you brought amazing people on the on this platform, and including the previous world champion Lance Miller. I was told he's going to make a public appearance today. And also just some of the thought leaders that made this program impactful. On her final show, Oprah Winfrey was asked, if you were to look on all the interviews that you've seen different people from different walks of life, what is the one thing that's common amongst every single person that you've interviewed? Oprah said, validation. Zakia, you validated Maud's dream and made this a reality, and I'd like to salute and acknowledge you. The stars of this show, though, were the members who attended week in and week out. You not only attended, but you actually implemented what you learned from the program. I can attest that this year I've seen a significant improvement in the brand compliance, and some of the innovations this team has come up with has been phenomenal. I'm loving the designs. They're fresh, they're cutting edge, yet brand compliant. And for me, this speaks to the value of the work that this team has done. So to everybody who participated from the beginning till the end of this program, we see you, we salute you. Toastmasters is indeed where leaders are made. A leader is somebody who has a vision and puts together a team that ensures that this vision is seen through. Maud Nale, our current public relations manager, I would like to acknowledge you for your foresight, for your vision, and ensuring that this program, PR for Success, was indeed a success. You probably are sitting there and thinking, Njabulo, was this program really a success? Well, District 74 answered. How did they answer? They awarded Maud Nale the Bright Spark Award. The Bright Spark Award is given to a Toastmaster who comes with an idea that makes an impact across all District 74. And guess who was voted as the Bright Spark for this current Toastmasters year? Our leader, Maud Nale. Maud, thank you so much for the work that you've put into this program and making a reality. We see you, we salute you, we acknowledge you for your work. Those that had the privilege of attending the club leadership training this morning, close to 1,000 District 74 leaders in one virtual room. I mean, how epic is that? I shared one of the 4 pillars of successful companies, and that pillar is quality training. You see, without quality training, staff aren't able to respond to the queries that the clients have. And if the client's queries aren't answered sufficiently by the first person who asks the question, that takes away or taints the brand. Therefore, this program and quality training across District 74 is pivotal to us shifting the dial and making Toastmasters a household brand. I hope as leaders that have attended this training and benefited from it, that you would not keep this knowledge, that you would share it as far and wide as possible. Public relations is critical to people being aware of the brand. At her opening address at the launch of this event, our late District Director, Meryl Jabba, mentioned how Toastmasters is perceived to be the best kept secret. Our role is making every single person aware of Toastmasters and to benefit from it. The host challenged us to make Toastmasters even more famous as TED, as the trusted source of public speaking and communication. Therefore, I challenge you to make Toastmasters a household brand across District 74 and the rest of the world. Remember, a leader is one who knows the way, shows the way, and who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. And you leaders have made this a resounding success. Congratulations to you, because Toastmasters is where leaders are made. Back to you, Maud.
I want to give a virtual round of applause to you, our current program quality director and our incoming district director, for your vote of confidence. PR for Success is all about training, and that falls in your portfolio. And when I approached you about this idea and you gave me the thumbs up, that was like the best gift that you could give me, because this is a vision that's been brewing for many years. And so to get your vote of confidence meant a lot to me and to the team. So thank you so much for the vote of confidence that you gave in us. And also, like you rightfully acknowledged, our late District Director, Meryl Jumper, Distinguished Toastmaster, also gave me the thumbs up on this. And in fact, she endorsed the program. That was enough for us to know that we could have the green light and we could proceed. So thank you to all the leaders, and especially to you, Distinguished Toastmaster Njabulo Thela, for your vote of confidence and for addressing us tonight and for your presence. It's always well appreciated. We're now going to move on to the rest of our program. As you know, I don't do this alone. We have a resident host. Tonight is no different. So please join me in welcoming onto the virtual stage our resident host. She is the Area S4 Director and the PR for Success Program Developer, Zakia Ismail. Zakia, over to you.
Good evening, everybody. I hope you are all ready for an exciting journey. I'm so happy that after 12 months, we are back here to roll on a lovely journey. Tonight, well, before I go there, Njabulo, I thank you so much for your words of appreciation and acknowledgement. And yeah, it really means a lot to me, and so does PR for Success. Absolutely. Thank you for that. Yeah. To the rest of you, tonight we are going on a journey. We're going to time travel all the way back to July. We're going to make a whole lot of pit stops. We're going to meet people that we've met before, and we're going to come back all the way back here to tonight, our PR for Success finale. Because after today, we are all about implementation for success. So who are we? Quickly, Njabulo mentioned a whole lot of names. Myself, Maud, and Ofhani is here tonight. I hope he's willing to put his camera on and just wave and say, that's the man that makes it all possible for all of us. Thank you, Ofhani. So, you can't see my seatbelt, but I'm putting it on. I invite you to tighten your seatbelts because it's a whirlwind journey with lots of stops and starts. and we're going to go through 10 masterclasses before we get to our keynote address later this evening. Are you ready to go? Yes?
I'm ready.
Yes. Driver, what's our first stop?
If you recall Masterclass 8 this year in March, we had an international act. I sent an invitation to him. I didn't think he was going to accept, but he has been faithful to this program and decided to join us. He's here again and he's going to be joining us on this journey. So we decided to start with him. He's distinguished Toastmaster Lance Miller. If you missed that masterclass in March, here's a snippet of what you missed out on.
I look at Toastmasters as an internship. It's a great place to fail. You come and make your mistakes in Toastmasters. And as an organization, what we do is we take people who are incompetent and put them on a position, in this case, Vice President of Public Relations, and they get to learn how to build their own competency. But you don't get that position because you're an expert at public relations. And what I'm going to say is actually promotion and marketing, which I'll get into in just a second. But this is a learning, this is an internship where you figure out how to succeed in life. And to me, all of Toastmasters is an internship to figure out how to succeed in life. You're put in situations and you have to figure out how to succeed in that role. And no action in life precedes decision. Now, there's a lot of clubs that say, oh, we really need to build a club. We need to get new members, just like laying in bed, but they didn't decide to do it. And if you as a club decide to get new members, you will start getting new members, but you have to decide to do it and kill the other side that you're not going to be a successful club and drive that forward.
That was just a snippet of that masterclass. Of course, it is available on our YouTube channel, Toastmasters Southern Africa District 74. So if you missed it, please go and check it out. It was Masterclass 8 and was held in March 2021. At this point, Mr. Zoom Master, I'm going to humbly ask that you please spotlight Mr. or Distinguished Toastmaster Lance Miller for the world to see. Our amazing international facilitator. We had to bring an international act. This program would not have ended without us doing so. So Lance Miller, one of the things I remember from that masterclass very clearly is you said, if we want to succeed as a club, we need to decide that we want to. And I suppose it's in anything in life, not just in Toastmasters, but care to take us on a little bit of a journey on how to promote and market your club, which was the title of your masterclass in March 2021. Over to you, Lance.
I can, Maud, and thank you very much on inviting me back. It's interesting, I'm in the eastern US right now. I'm actually up in northern Michigan, which is in the Great Lakes area. I live in Los Angeles, but I'm in a little cottage with, I had to go across the lake to find an internet access, and the lights are going in and out above me. So if you see the lights flashing, you know what's going on. But it's exciting to tap in with you today. A couple points I want to just touch on. When we look at what success is, we can have wonderful, beautiful social media programs. We can have beautiful newsletters that go out. You know, they can have the Toastmasters emblem on them just perfectly, and the brand is represented excellently. But what is success? What's the result of that? And that's the thing I would challenge everybody here. In building a club and putting that out, why are you putting that out? You're putting that out to not only create a good image for Toastmasters, but you're putting that out to bring people into Toastmasters. So the success is simply this: how many people came into Toastmasters and said, I'm interested in this program. They said, I'm coming to your club. I want to find out what it is. That to me is the mark of effective public relations. And actually, as I said in my seminar before, and this comes all the way from the top of Toastmasters International, which was Sally Newell-Cohen, who's the #2 person there. When I was meeting with she and Dan Rex going over the trainings I do, they said it's really a wrong title, VP of PR. It should be VP of Promotion and Marketing. We are promoting and marketing the club to bring people in. And that's how we actually build the organization. The organization lives and dies at the club level. So how strong the clubs are is how strong Toastmasters International is. And we need more people at the club level. And I also want to just say this: the best PR that we have is someone whose life has been improved by Toastmasters, and they're out living a more successful life because of Toastmasters. That's the best PR that we have. how to promote and market a club. As Maud, as you know, I went over, I think in the seminar number 8 with you, 6 different ways to drive people into your business. And you need to take a look at your geographic area and promote around the geographic area to the businesses around you, and go out and talk to them and tell them you have this great communication and leadership training that all their employees can take advantage of. You talk to your friends and your family, your coworkers, and we came up with a 4x6. Those are inches. That's a U.S. term, but a 4x6 card that we'd pass out to them to get people to come in. You hold special meetings that it's only this one meeting. We have like the district winner of the international speech competition, or we got the district winner of the humorous speech competition coming. The funniest person in District 74 is going to be at our club. You've got to be there this Tuesday. Instead of, oh, can you come to our meeting someday? No, you've got to come on Tuesday. That way we put a push to get people to the meeting instead of to a meeting. You can hold special meetings. You have parties outside of Toastmasters. I talk about having a wine and cheese party. They don't know what Toastmasters is, but they know what wine and cheese is. So they'll come to your wine and cheese party. Then after they have a couple glasses of wine, you get them to agree to come to your meeting and experience that. But the truth is, people like to associate with people they know, and you get a chance to know people. You tell them what Toastmasters is, and they will want to come to the meeting because they've met some really nice people. You know, and there's speech crafts, there's youth leadership programs. You know, in District 74, I met the gentleman, I think he was over in Durban. He's done more youth leadership than I think anybody in Toastmasters has done. Youth leadership's phenomenal. The parents see the kids change, and the parents join Toastmasters. The point is, we've got to reach out in the community and engage the community. And you don't build a club by sitting quietly in your club and holding hands and saying, oh, we need to get new members in. You build the club by going out and talking to people, you know, and going out and showing what your skills are. You can hold a speech craft at your local business association or chamber of commerce. You can hold a speech craft at Rotary. We've got a program with Rotary now to do the Rotary leadership, teach the presidents how to speak, and they'll come in. There's all sorts of things we can do, but we have to stand up and be willing to communicate and say, you know, this is a communication leadership program. Good. So let's go out and talk to people. Let's use communication. Let's use leadership and go out and show people what we can do. And we will naturally bring people in, because most people in life are struggling to be able to get the thoughts out of their head. And they're struggling with communication has been we've had a lot of bad experiences with it. We've said things and we've gotten laughed at. We've said stupid things. We stood up, we've choked, and then people don't want to communicate. And Toastmasters is a safe place to build that speaking muscle. And every human being needs it. You know, and as I say, I'll just close on this. You know, as Toastmasters, we revive the dead is what we do. We're a little bit like church. And you know exactly what I mean. People come in and they're in this huddled shell of this person. They can't talk. And 6 months later, we can't shut them up. They are more alive than we've ever seen them. Okay. And so you got to realize that there are beautiful people sitting inside of huddled shells that have been invalidated their whole life. And we got to bring that out and bring them back to life. And that's what we do in Toastmasters. And there's a world out there to help. And we need to really reach out. I'll just say this, to me, a Toastmasters club is not 20 to people. A close Toastmasters club is 40 to 60 people. That's a good, strong club. And that's where I think our club should be. That's a good dynamic program at that point. So I wish you the greatest success in District 74. And if I can be of any help next year, please feel to reach out and contact me, and I'll do whatever I can to back you up. And I had a wonderful trip down there a few years ago, and I look forward to seeing the Toastmasters in Southern Africa again someday. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lance Miller. It was so amazing having you on the program in March 2021. Tonight was no different. As on behalf of PR for Success, we are so grateful, and we have a certificate of appreciation to show you how much you have added so much value to the program and to the brand ambassadors across Southern Africa. So thank you so much for making the time. Even though you're way across the world, you were able to join us, and we're extremely, extremely grateful. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters, a virtual round of applause, please, for distinguished Toastmaster, who is also the 2005 World Champion of Public Speaking, Lance Miller.
Yeah. Thank you, Maud.
Zakia, who's next?
That was our first stop. And now I said put your seatbelts on because we're going back, forth, back, forth. No, we've tried to be a bit more gentle. We're now going back all the way back to July, where we held our first masterclass. What was the thinking behind that, Maud?
It was very important that we started with a framework for us to go on this journey. And bringing or talking about the Toastmasters brand is almost the foundation of the role of the Vice President of Public Relations. You can never execute your role to the best of your ability if you don't know much about the brand. Much like the brands that you interact with on a daily basis, if you don't know the identity that is linked to that brand, it's going to be very difficult for you to communicate. And so the same was with us in PR for Success. We decided to speak about branding because that formed the foundation. And we knew, and we had seen, Zakia, that our VPPRs at the beginning were not quite getting it right. Mm-hmm. And so we decided to kick off the program with that. And we spoke about the Toastmasters brand, how it fits in to the various puzzle pieces that is Toastmasters. If you don't believe me, check the snippet with Gary Tintinger and Nada Zinane.
Okay, so the idea is that branding is not logos. In a lot of cases, people think that a brand is the logo, that it's the Toastmasters logo. Or people talk about Nike and they talk about that as a brand. You know, a brand is so many more things. So a brand is actually a collection of everything. And I've got brand is a promise. A brand is an experience. A brand is reputation. A brand is a whole number of things. A brand is not just a name, a logo, and typography.
So as a VPPR or a brand ambassador or just a club officer, but more specifically to the VPPR, we need to promote our clubs. We need to promote the Toastmasters experience. So that's one of the first things that we need to do. So for that, we really need to, have that all understanding about the brand right guidelines. How do we promote that and make sure that we are maintaining that Toastmasters personality that we were seeing with Gary? We need to develop social media pages. So nowadays, it's all about millennials. It's all about going to LinkedIn, going to Facebook, Instagram, and finding information there. It's no longer, waiting to see a TV show or to see an interview. There you will get more information about something. So we really need to engage with our audience in social media pages. So it's very important that we also know or get to know how we can do this. Create publicity campaigns. We need to understand also the importance and impact of the Toastmasters brand. That was the first part of this masterclass. And then in some instance, if the club has a web page, we need to know how we can do with that and safeguard the Toastmasters brand. So we need to all be vigilant. So if we learn today, for example, what are the colors that we can use, and then we see that someone, for example, is using the maroon that is not the true maroon that the Toastmaster has, we need to, be bold and also be friendly to that person and, really guide the person to the better way. Because in the end of the day, we are all guardians of the Toastmasters brand. So that's something that we need to do as public relations.
Thank you, Nady and Gary. We are so extremely grateful that you gave up your time and your energy for this. This masterclass is where I learned how much I didn't know. When I came in, I was the immediate past VPPR for my North Riding Club, and I thought, wow, I do good PR. And at Masterclass 1, I was like, oh, whoa, I have so much to learn, and I can't wait for the next 9 masterclasses. So the question is, what do we do with those fonts, with that logo, with what our role is? Where do we put it? Nady mentioned all the social media sites that we need to put that out. When, how often, how do we keep track? It can be overwhelming. So we wanted to make things easier for you. And with that, we had our next set of facilitators were invited exactly to help you to learn, what do you do with that? We've got a clip for you. Let's listen in and then we'll talk some more.
now you have now understood what a public relations plan, because I've tried to demystify it and explained it in the simplest manner possible so that it's not so scary and sophisticated. And I hope you now know how to develop one and how to track it. And I also hope that those of you who didn't have a public relations plan, you're going to come up with one and develop one for the benefit of your members. And if you experience any challenges, feel free to communicate with me. I'll also be sending my email so that you know how to get in touch with me. And for those of you who have the plan already in place, just go back and have a look at it again and see if it has all the key elements of a plan, because you might have missed out key things that should be in a plan. And if it doesn't have an action plan, it should have an action plan, because that is the core of a plan. An action plan is a summary or a snapshot of all the things that you're going to do throughout the year. And I also hope that after this meeting, you're going to implement all those interesting ideas that I have shared with you.
Why is follow-up so important? And I've been mentioning it throughout this presentation. We're not offering marriage before we've built a relationship. So what we want to do with follow-up is start building a relationship with the prospect we found online or with the guest who comes to our club. And we want to build a relationship around what we've offered them in terms of their goals, or relieving their challenges, or easing their pain points. Around those, we want to keep a relationship going.
Yes, we do. We definitely do. My favorite part, which I've really kept in my heart after that session, was when JP said we really need to distinguish between features and benefits. And I use that all the time, and not just in Toastmasters, in my life, talking to my children, my family, in the shops, wherever I need to, because that was such an important thing, and it was my personal game changer. I would love to hear what the game changer was for you in the chat, if you please share with us. JP and Nitsai, we are really grateful that you were here and you shared with us your thoughts, your expertise, and really strengthened that foundation that Gary and Nady had set for us. So the question now was, Lance mentioned that your best PR are the people whose lives have been transformed by Toastmasters. And that takes us to our next session. Maud, would you like to share a little on that?
Masterclass 3 was all about using personal stories to sell the benefits of Toastmasters. I was very excited about that one because I know each of us, even those sitting here tonight and watching the recording, can tell a story of why they joined Toastmasters. And those are the best stories to sell the benefits of Toastmasters. We were blessed to have the two Michaels of District 74, Michael Chikwililo and Michael Shackleton, distinguished Toastmasters, who took us through this subject. If you missed that masterclass, here's a short snippet.
Now, one of the things that I want you guys to try and, embrace within the Toastmasters environment is that if you claim to be a Toastmaster, there's a certain air of respect and credibility that needs to be attached to whom you are as a Toastmaster. And so because of that, credibility is very important. And remember, as I mentioned before, you are an ambassador. And because you're an ambassador, you cannot sell what you don't believe in. People will spot if you're fake a mile away. Okay, and you essentially want to make people aspire to be like you when they see you. People should be looking and say, hey, there goes that Toastmaster. That's what you're looking for. Excellence.
Really, I want to conclude largely by saying that you never know who you will inspire by just being you, by just being yourself. It is an incredibly vulnerable thing to do, to say, look, I was once, I don't know, homeless. I was once jobless. I, really suffered, tremendous problems in my life that I've overcome. But people can actually relate to you through your own vulnerability. You can inspire people everywhere, in general life, within Toastmasters, outside Toastmasters, and so on. And interestingly, someone that I learned this kind of thing from was a book called The 50th Law, which is by literally 50 Cent, the rapper. His name is actually Curtis Jackson. And he said you can turn every negative into a positive. And I'll give another example of this. When I scored highly in political party interviews, where I knew that I was the youngest person applying. And I actually raised that in the speech itself, specifically because I knew that that was the one thing that they could attack me on, and transform that into a positive by mentioning things like energy, determination, drive, but even things like, for example, the majority of our population is young, and they have to have someone to relate to, and so on. But I think, yeah, we can get creative in every respect. How you can turn every negative into a positive. And even having come from a difficult place in your life, you can transform that to inspiring others. You can transform that into selling the Toastmasters brand and into showing what we are about as an organization.
That was just a snippet of the masterclass, which was called Personal Stories, How to Use These to Sell the Benefits of Toastmasters. We were so grateful to have the two Michaels on the virtual stage. And so I'm going to ask them each to turn on their videos, unmute themselves if they're both in the virtual room. And maybe Zoom Master, you can put them side by side so that our audience can get to meet them or put a face to their name. And Michael Shackleton, they're both on screen. In fact, all three of us are. Hello, gentlemen. Lovely to have you here. We'll start with you, Michael Shackleton. What was your key takeaway from this session on using personal stories to sell the benefits of Toastmasters? Over to you.
Thank you so much, Maud, and good evening to everyone present. I think my key takeaway is actually a line I'd like to steal from Lance Miller, who spoke just now, who said that essentially the best marketing strategy that you have in Toastmasters is someone whose life has literally been transformed by being in the organization. And I think I've gone on so much about the way that Toastmasters changed my life from stuttering to being in every sphere of government by the age of 31, and I'm now 33, that it's even become boring for some people. But I think that it's stories like that, a living testimony, which will ensure that more people join the organization because they can relate to one personally. They can put a name to that brand. I mean, I've been in Toastmasters now for 10 years, and there has to be a reason for that. I'm now the VPPR of the Accenture Toastmasters Club, and I was talking with the previous VPPR that we would like to launch a program where we take testimonies from members of the club as to how Toastmasters has transformed their own lives, and see how we can take that to social media, how we can take it to notice boards, say in a local Pick and Pay, and so on and so forth, because really that is the very best marketing strategy that we have in practice, to show that it isn't a gimmick, it's not a lie, it's not a pyramid scheme. We are really here showing you that Toastmasters does have the ability to transform everyone's life in a very, very positive manner. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much to you, Michael. And wow, what an initiative. I'm so excited to hear more about it. I'm sure you are too, Zakia. So please, Michael and the club that you're representing, let us know about it so we can let the world know as well. And who knows, we may be able to replicate that across several clubs right here in Southern Africa. So thank you so much for sharing your story. What about you, Michael Chikwelilwa?
What I would mention as the biggest takeaway is if we take a look at the acronym PR, the R part is actually the most important part, the relationships. And as Toastmasters, if you focus on the relationship side of things with the people whom you invite to the clubs, with the people with whom you're working, that's actually what's going to really build a very strong club. From my own personal experience, Toastmasters is one of those things, just like all other things in life, where sometimes you feel that, you know what, I've just had enough of all of this pressure, things, you know, all kinds of things are happening, and you may feel as though you want to take a slight break away from it. However, the friendships that you have with the people within your club are what's always going to draw you back. I don't know how to say it other than to say that, you know, people only love being with and spending time with people whom they really enjoy being around. So if you're an authentic person, someone who isn't just involved in ticking, you know, your X's and O's, for example, so crossing your T's, dotting your I's when it comes to putting out your public relations plan, but someone that genuinely cares for the people that come in the club, that is going to be your primary secret for success. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael Chikwelilwa. I remember at that masterclass, you shared something quite interesting about a purple cow. You want to make your club a purple cow. I'm not going to spoil it for those who missed the masterclass, so please hop on over to our YouTube channel, Toastmasters Southern Africa, District 74. It was Masterclass 3, which was entitled Selling the Benefits, using personal stories to sell the benefits of Toastmasters. I want to thank the two Michaels, Michael Shackleton and Michael Chikwelilwa, for gracing us with their presence, for sharing their expertise and their experience with the members or the delegates of PR For Success. We're eternally grateful, and we've got a certificate of appreciation just to show you how much we value your support. So a virtual round of applause, please, for the two Michaels of District 74, Michael Shackleton and Michael Chikwelilwa.
Where do we go with this?
Thank you kindly.
It's a pleasure. Thank you. Where do we go with these stories? Lives have been transformed, and it really is our responsibility to share those stories with other people so that their lives can be transformed. In the same way, somebody shared that story with us and we ended up joining Toastmasters. And one of those avenues that we can share in is the media, but we don't. Because two reasons. One, we don't know how to, and it's a bit scary. And two, it's a lot of work. And we had a session focused specifically on selling the Toastmasters brand into the media. We had Gail and Susan and Jarelo, who shared with us, gave us lots of good information. If you missed that class, you would want to go and watch the recording. For now, you'll just get a brief taster of what we spoke about.
Media houses, especially community radio stations, are always looking for stories, as opposed to newspapers, which my colleagues Susan and Dawn will get into a little bit later on. Media, radio stations, especially community radio stations, are always looking for stories, particularly because they are on a 24/7. So if you go to them and you pitch whatever new news about your club or what it is that your club or Toastmasters seeks to do, chances are that they will run with that story for absolutely 0 rands.
And when we look at what is a media hit, the question that we want to answer is, how can we as clubs, as an organization, gain traction, respect, and trust in the outside world? The answer is by sharing information strategically in the places where people expect to read or hear about communities and their success stories. Now, where are these places? Kagela told us about the newspapers, the press. It's also your internal, organizational, employee news outlets, things like your employee newsletter, things like posters that are being put up. These are all the places where you can share your club's information strategically.
Why the press? I say, why not the press? It helps to build relationships and it garners attention and awareness in the community. Journalists and media outlets have far more reach for your club and for your organization.
Susan and Dawn, you are both here this evening. Thank you so much for being here. Susan, I'm going to start with you. You were really passionate about the PR kit and having an area-wide one. You gave some really good suggestions, which I think we did not actually implement as, I know, as Area S4, but maybe this year. I'd like to know from you, though, for you, what was your big takeaway that you'd like us to take with us, from your session?
I think the big thing for me was really that the media is there, especially the community media. And when I speak about community, it's your newspaper outside, but also the community of your workplace. They are there and they want to hear good stories. They need our good stories. They need to reach out to the communities in which they serve and where we as Toastmasters serve as well. So I think for me, the big takeaway was create those media kits, put the information together so that it is there whenever you have the opportunity to go out to anybody who is interested in your Toastmasters club, whether it's a community club or a business club. In our club, our VPPR of this year, she took over from me, had a journalist in our club the other day when we had our very first meeting after so many months of doing it on Zoom. We had a face-to-face meeting and we had a journalist. She enjoyed it so much. And that is what we want to do. That is how we can bring the word out to people out there. But make sure that we are prepared. Have the short facts. Have the explanation about what Toastmasters is. And have the very good stories, the transformational stories about people who really improved themselves. And these are people like you and me, people who had a fear of speaking in front of other people. And then they can. After maybe 3 sessions at Toastmasters, they have already improved. These are the stories that we want to get out. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. Yes, thank you. I completely resonate. And somebody who is fearless about sending out to the media and having good success is Gail Hamming, who I would call our media champion. Gail, please inspire us one more time on why we really need to send out and engage with the media.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for affording me this opportunity. I would like to begin by thanking Susan for inviting me to participate in her presentation. Let's help you to get the word out. If there's one thing I would like to leave with you, it's how to form a relationship with your local newspaper. And that I learned the hard way. I had to go out and fathom this out for myself. And finally, I called the newspaper, I introduced myself to them, and I also told them about Toastmasters and the many benefits Toastmasters has to offer, not only for personal use, but also for the community. From there on, it made my journey a lot easier. And then I started submitting articles and I started submitting pictures of members' achievements or special events within our club. And the coverage became more and more and more. So that is one of the ways that you can go out and you can create an awareness of your club within your community. And the other item that we discussed on the program, on Masterclass 4, was how to structure your press release. It's very important. So we covered all the structures, starting right when a journalist receives your press release. They start reading from the bottom to the top. Why do they do that? They cover this to see what they can. I just want to backtrack a little while. The journalist has limited space in the newspaper to print your article as well as a photograph. So they need to insert this in that space. So they will then read from the bottom to the top to see what they don't need to include in the article, but it will not take away anything from the article that has value and is important. Those are two things that I would like to leave with you. And also, what are the benefits? I have benefited immensely from this PR masterclass. I think it's long overdue. And the benefits is it will equip you to complete the skill set required to successfully drive public relations activities, not only in your club, within your club, to grow your club and to form new clubs. So I would like to also thank Lance James. I remember his presentation when he said, this is your apprenticeship. We've been through our apprenticeship now, and now we need to apply all the knowledge that we've gained. We've been so fortunate to participate in these masterclasses, and I believe that each and every one of us is going to do our utmost best to apply everything and to promote Toastmasters and beat TED Talks. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Gail. I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that Gail and Susan put in an immense amount of work in putting out Masterclass 4, was it?
4.
Yes, Masterclass 4. They revised their slides, they shared with us, they went through it again because they really, really wanted you to get your story into the media. So with all that effort, we have a responsibility to implement those suggestions because they put it all out and easy for us. Gail and Susan, we're so grateful that you shared your time that evening and for being here tonight and sharing and encouraging and inspiring us again. Thank you so, so much. Okay, how are we doing, people? Your seatbelts still on? Because we have another stop and it's all exciting stops. What do we do with these stories? What do we do with the media? What else was missing? What's our next stop now?
We spoke about the media with Gail, Dawn, and Kaugelo. But another form of media is social media. In fact, it's one of the more growing ways of letting the world know about Toastmasters. And so we had to cover it, Zakia. There was no way we could leave it out. But I remember that masterclass, it was held in November. A lot of the delegates were saying, but there's so many platforms out there. Which ones do we decide to go on? How do we decide to go on it? And so the third Michael of District 74, Michael Igioma, came through and spoke to us about using social media for maximum impact. If you missed that masterclass, here's a short snippet.
Another consideration is which social media platform fits your brand image. I know that some clubs are corporate clubs and would not be open to certain platforms. It is important that before you choose a social media platform, you first of all consider your club and what is suitable for your brand image. Another consideration would be how many social media sites can we really manage? Do you have the capacity to go on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, and virtually all social media platforms? When I was DPPR, I could only really manage Facebook and Instagram. And that worked for us at that time. But times have changed. Innovation comes in every single day. And then if there's capacity, you can go on more if need be. Another consideration would be usability. Some platforms are complicated or more complicated than other platforms. Some you upload a picture, you click share, you put a comment or two, and that's it. Whereas others, you might need to navigate one or two features or do one or two things extra that gets the message out. So these are 5 considerations that I put across. Does your club need a social media presence? It is something that the entire club needs to sit down and discuss and see, yes, do we need one? I am of the opinion that every club needs social media. In today's world, no club should stay away from social media. I put consideration like which social media platform fits your brand image. Is your target market or your target audience using that particular social media platform? The fact that Facebook has billions of users, does it really mean that your club should be on Facebook? It's a consideration. How many social media sites can you really manage? It is pointless to have a handle, which is like your address or your ID, and not be functional. It really is pointless. And usability. Do you have the competence in your club to really manage that social media, or can you, upskill yourself or ask people who have used it to get the right information?
Decisions. There's so many platforms out there. Which ones do we decide to go on so that we can reach our target audience? Or do we have the capacity to be on all of them, or are we going to just decide to take one or two and do them really well? We have the man of the moment with us tonight. In fact, he's been spotlighted. So I'm going to ask Michael Ijeoma to let us know. Michael, what was your one takeout that you could leave with brand ambassadors as we go back on this journey of using social media for maximum impact? Over to you.
Hi, Maud. Hi, Zakia and the rest of the team. Good evening, and thanks for inviting me. Can you hear me properly?
Absolutely.
Okay, awesome. My one major take when it comes to social media is the fact that for every post, for every upload on social media, you're actually speaking to someone on the other end. Sometimes we tend to think that just because we've posted and there's no engagement, there's been no like, retweet, repost, or whatever, that people haven't seen it. But people do see it. And sometimes they might ignore, sometimes they might take the content and do whatever with it. Now, in terms of Toastmasters and the fact that, one, we want to build relationships, we also want to maintain credibility and preserve our reputation. And that speaks to knowing what to do on social media. Firstly, I would always say anything worth doing at all, especially for a PR manager as a Toastmaster, anything worth doing is worth doing well. Many times we get overwhelmed with number of tasks online, but few skills that we need to learn that will help us navigate the various challenges when it comes to social media. Like one, which I think you just played a clip, which social media is ideal for my club? I would always say the right message dictates the right platform that you use. Social media has to form part of your PR plan so people can sit and really get, especially the Xcode, to be part of your social media journey. Because if one person takes that project alone, it tends to be overwhelming many times, and we just don't see the results. My other take when it comes to social media is that there has to be etiquettes put in place. We've seen many companies, individuals, brands kill themselves or basically shoot themselves in the foot because they never followed the guidelines of whichever social media platform that they choose. So for every PR manager, before you decide on any platform, it is important that you take time to study what the guidelines are, not just from the brand aspect as Toastmaster, but from the platform itself. I think that would really help PR managers. We also, and this is one that we struggle with some of the guys that we worked with, which is why is it that on Twitter, we have different limits, and then the same doesn't apply to Instagram. It's important that you understand, firstly, what the limitations are on the various platforms. You also understand what the purpose is of each platform. We had challenges where you could post a particular message on Twitter and you get a response, but when you post the same message on Facebook, you don't get a response because Twitter and Facebook, or Twitter and Instagram, or Instagram and Facebook, they really do have different purposes. So it's important for us as PR managers to understand what these purposes are. So I really want to appreciate the team. I actually had to go back and learn a bit more about social media even after that masterclass. And some of the questions that came later made me really think. But the truth is, since that masterclass till date, there's been some changes to the various social media platforms. Like I believe Twitter has extended its video playtime from 2 minutes to maybe two minutes, 20 seconds. PR managers have to be updated. You know, it's ongoing. And the days when we used to think that social media is for millennials, it's far gone. My mom is on social media, and her friends are also on social media. So yes, thank you very much for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
We certainly appreciate it, Michael. We're glad to hear that we challenged you to think outside of the box when it comes to social media. One thing you said is that everything or anything worth doing is worth doing well. So brand ambassadors deciding on that platform becomes very important. But I mentioned it this morning at the leadership training that we hosted, and I said, you have to have that plan. If you fail to plan, you're going to plan to fail. And so you need to have that plan on when do we post, how do we post, which platforms are we on, are we reaching our target audience there, so that you can be able to speak to them at the right time. He also mentioned that there's always changes across social media platforms, so you need to keep updated. But remember, Toastmasters, it's not about us as brand ambassadors, it's about our audience. And so maybe everyone is on Facebook, but if your audience is not on Facebook, it's not the correct platform for you. So that decisions that need to be made in line with your leadership team or with your leadership team become very important as you chart away and use social media to let the world know about Toastmasters. Michael, it's been such an honor having you as part of PR for Success. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise and experiences with us. A token of appreciation is showing on the screen now. We are very, very grateful for your time. A virtual round of applause, please, for Michael Ijeoma. That was how we rounded off the calendar year Toastmasters, not with Lance Miller, of course, but those were the 5 masterclasses that we brought in 2020. At this point, I'm going to hand over to a few of our delegates to let us know about their experience on PR for Success. And so I'm going to ask them each to please turn on their videos. Some of them will come now and a few of them later, but I have a list in front of me of those who will come now. And maybe they could briefly, in under a minute, let's do table topics on PR for Success. Why not? Let us know about their experience on PR for Success. I'm going to start with Denise Steinbank. Denise Steinbank is the current Vice President of Public Relations at a club called Crest Connect. It's based in Durban, South Africa. Denise, over to you.
Thank you so much. So for me, I think that then an important thing that I learned during my term, and especially because it was my first time, my first year in Toastmasters, and also my first year serving as VPPR. So there was so much to learn, and it was all just very, very informative at first. And something that stands out to me is the first Toastmasters masterclass, which was the branding. And at first it seemed like so much information, especially in terms of the colors and codes and all of that. But eventually I figured that it was actually doable. And the more I learned how to do it, the more it was transferable into different aspects. And I started to look at branding very differently. I started to look at other brands and how they brand themselves so differently and so specifically. And it allowed me to also do my job very differently. And I was able to apply those skills. So an important thing was how transferable the skills were. I was able to transfer those skills onto how I manage my own social media, how I manage my own work social media, and I was able to use those and apply them in different aspects of how I just communicate and show up in the world. And each and every one of the masterclasses built up and taught me something new, and I was never short of inspiration. I was jotting down, although we had everything recorded, I was still just so eager to jot down things that I really wanted to stick with me. So I really have learned a lot, and I'm excited to learn more about PR and just the difference that it had between marketing. All of it was mind-blowing, and I'm really excited to continue on this journey. Thank you.
Thank you so much to you, Denise, and it was so lovely to have you on the program. And I'm very excited to announce that Crest Connect, if I'm if I am correct, is a President's Distinguished Club. And that's testament to the hard work that you've done this Toastmasters year in letting the world know about Toastmasters to your members and to the community. So congratulations and well done to you. And we are so excited to hear that you found value from the PR for Success program. At this point, I'm now going to move over to Leah Musunga, who's in Gaborone Toastmasters, which is based in Botswana. If you, Leah, could turn on your video so our Zoom master can find you, spotlight you, and you can let us know in under a minute about your experience on the program. Over to you, Leah.
Thank you very much, Maud. When I was made the VPR of my club, it was very scary, and especially for a person who wasn't really active on social media. I had no clue on how I was going to be able to execute my role. But one thing I can say, the PR for Success classes really made my tasks so much easier. I got to learn about software, Canva, and all the different things that one can do. And in terms of even publicizing events happening in our club, celebrating our members, in terms of the lessons I have learned through the PR for Success class, I think 1 minute I've been assigned to is just too little. I have gained so much skills through the lessons that have been provided over the past 11 months. And I'm sure these are skills that I'll be able to even apply in my life, even moving forward, even when I take on other roles in my club. So I'm really thankful for all that I got to learn through this, through the lessons that we had over the past couple of months. And I know one thing that I even used was able to submit the winning advert for Botswana so that the international president was able to attend our club in Gaborone. So this is all thanks to taking somebody who had zero knowledge in PR and building the person up to a person who can actually speak confidently about it. So I'm really, really thankful for the PR for Success.
Oh, thank you so much to you, Leah. It is so amazing to hear your story about how the program has changed your life. And just like Chris Connect, I think Gaborone Toastmasters is also a President's Distinguished Club, all thanks to your hard work on letting the world know about Toastmasters in your part of Southern Africa. So thank you so much to you for sharing your story. At this point, we're going to move over to a corporate club. You know I love corporate clubs. I always talk about them. They're a very important part of our journey as Toastmasters. We have a lot of those partners here in District 74, and so we couldn't leave them out as we went on this journey. We're now going to hear from someone who comes from a corporate club. I'm going to hand over the virtual stage to Maxine Mugabe from Medicine Toastmasters, all the way in Zambia, to share her experience on the PR for Success program. Over to you, Maxine.
Thank you so much, Maud. A pleasant evening to you all. I would like to start by sharing what Richard Branson says. If somebody offers you an opportunity, but you have no idea what it is all about, say yes and learn how to do it later. Fellow Toastmasters, that's how my journey as VPPR began. I had no idea what it meant to be a public relations officer. I had no idea what designing posts was. I did not know what a communication plan was at all. But the PR masterclasses that I attended literally transformed me and taught me that if somebody offers you an opportunity, say yes and learn how to do it later. For the transformation that you may have is totally astounding. The other thing that stayed with me throughout, after making mistakes, was that the content that you create is not for your members, but it is for your audience. It is for your prospective members. And that's how I began to modify my posters to suit the people that could be our prospective members. And as Maud highlighted earlier, it is not about us brand ambassadors, but it is for our audience. Thank you so much, Maud. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Maxine, for sharing your personal story. It was so amazing to watch your journey as a brand ambassador at Madison Toastmasters Club. In fact, Madison Toastmasters Club won the club event or club PR of the best club PR of the year. All testament to the hard work that you've put in letting the world know about Toastmasters in Zambia. So congratulations and well done to you. We're now going to close off this session with another Toastmaster who has said that they benefited greatly from the program, and that is the current area director. See, this program was not limited to just normal members. Even district leaders decided to go on this journey with us. And so I'm going to ask Nwabisa Masethi Nzuzo from the Breakfast Club in Cape Town, South Africa, to please turn on your video, unmute yourself, and let us know about your experience on PR for Success. Over to you, Nwabisa.
Thank you very much, Maud, for allowing me to speak. As an area director, I really enjoyed this journey. I had no idea what the journey would be, but I knew that I needed to learn this skill. My first experience, or what I've really learned, was social media. Social media is massive. So one needs to know which platform to use. And in my club, the Breakfast Club, we are a big fan when it comes to Facebook. We love Facebook and our page grows each and every day. And Instagram, but we are not that big on Instagram, but personally, I love Instagram. I've grown my business through Instagram. And also, I've also learned that what the difference is from PR and marketing. Before this, I would just fumble and say, no PR, no marketing. Now I know exactly what PR is and what marketing is all about. Coming to this classes has also helped me with the clubs that I'm coaching. Being able to tell them which brand or which colors, which fonts, and branding as a whole, how to use the colors. So this class has been so much useful in my life and very impactful in the clubs that I'm coaching in as an area director and also as a secretary, can you believe it, in my club. Thank you very much, Maud. Back to you.
Thank you so much to you, Nwabisa, for sharing your story. This program was not just for members, it was also for district leaders, and we had so many of them embark on this journey with us. We want to thank them so much for their time and their testimonials that they've just shared with us. I see in the chat box, our PQD, our Program Quality Director, acknowledges that Madison Toastmasters, Maxine, the Toastmaster who spoke before Nwabisa, her club, Madison Toastmasters, was also President's Distinguished. What I can tell you is, in my observation, the clubs that came to the program, Zakia, were the clubs that did really well. It's not by accident that these particular brand ambassadors were called tonight. It's because they really benefited from the program and the results are showing at this point. I want to just remind members, because there are a lot of people in our virtual audience and those watching the recording that maybe missed a few of the masterclasses. So don't despair. Tonight, we're just taking you down memory lane on all the classes that we hosted over the past year. These are all available in its entirety on our YouTube channel. It's called Toastmasters Southern Africa District 74. You can search for PR for Success. We've created a playlist. It's in order. Each of them are numbered, so you can go in and view each masterclass that we showed right now at your leisure. It's been a bumper hour with all the masterclasses we've shown. Then it was 2021, Zakia, and we decided that we're going to talk about membership, because membership is a development area in District 74 and in fact probably across the world. And so we wanted to tailor PR for success, but bring in the membership element. How do we attract members to our clubs? How did that go? That was January, February, and March. All about membership.
Yep. But we're at a roadblock. I want to take you a little bit back to what got us to this membership thing. See, PR for Success is a very emergent program. It's not like we went out there and looked at what kind of PR programs are out there and then tried to implement those and tailor those to District 74. What we did was we looked at our clubs in District 74. We spoke to people. We listened to the feedback, and every masterclass emerged based on what was happening in the calendar year and where the gaps were. So we were coming into membership and coming into renewal season, and we were sensing and picking up and hearing a lot of anxiety from our VPPRs, our VPMs, from our clubs on, yes, we have the fonts, we know what colors, we're using True Maroon, I promise you, but we're still not winning. And so we were thinking, why aren't you winning? What is the issue? And a lot of the feedback was, we're not really sure what to say. We don't have the language. And that is how Masterclass 6 and 7. So we ended, Maud and I spent, I think, a better part of a whole day brainstorming what we're going to do in January. So in December we brainstormed for a better part of the day, and we pulled together members of District 74 who have shown us very, very clearly just how strong and great they are with messaging in particular. And so Masterclass 6 and 7 took a bit of a different kind of journey. We had 4 facilitators there, all powerhouses in their own right. They all come from very different backgrounds, and they all spoke about messaging from their own angles and their own perspectives. And when you bring all that together and you look at and understand and hear what they say, I don't think anybody can say that their clubs are still struggling, because there was just so much in there, right, Maud? And so that was effective messaging, a practical guide to selling Toastmasters. We have a clip.
Yes. If you missed that masterclass, check this clip out.
It's an important concept to try and remember and to get your head around. So
PR is not just about getting out there. It's also about your messaging and your relationships within your club, and keeping those warm and keeping those relationships really thorough and good. That is what we're really selling. So those are the 3 points that Lance Mill himself came up with, were communication, energy, and turn the ordinary into extraordinary.
And the VPPR, I still think, is the one with the magic wand that can make magic happen. If you are a VPPR, relish that role. And just share it with as many people, your expertise. Get people to understudy you, draw them along, because PR is something we need, not only in Toastmasters, but in our lives out there. It's an incredible skill to have and to enhance. You just can't stop learning.
As I sum up, I will just touch back on each of the letters on best. You, my friend, have the opportunity and the ability to be the best VPPR ever. And we have seen it in our club when we really believed in what we're doing, honestly and honestly, that what we're selling in Toastmasters is real and helps. We've found that it has really worked. And when we've showed empathy to people, to love them, to welcome them, and to see them as part of the team from the get-go, we've seen that they become part of the team immediately. And of course, you do not do this on a slow pace, because you do not have the whole world's time to make it happen. It is almost only that hour or 2 hours that you have after speaking to that person. So that email, that conversation with the VPM and needs to happen with a sense of agency. And lastly, please do not just do things to the universe, because yes, the universe is big and you may not ever see the results because your audience is too wide. Narrow it down, keep it focused. Remain believing, because you and I are here today because we have seen a difference because of what Toastmasters has given us. So if we believe it, we are able to be empathetic, and we will have the right sense of agency, and we will target and get it all right.
You're going on the side. Good. Lucinda and Joanne, Thank you so much for being here this evening. Lucinda, I remember when we spoke to you, you had just, to be part of this masterclass, you had just got off a LinkedIn discussion with somebody who signed up very, very quickly. And as Division L Director, you had a vast amount of experience with corporate clubs, with community clubs, on getting that messaging right and doing PR. So Lucinda, my question to you is, given all our discussions, all these masterclasses, what do you want people to really, really take away with them?
Thank you to both of you. Zakia, Maud, you really, what an incredible program, PR for Success. And what an honor to be part of it. It's a time in history in our lives we'll remember for a very long time. I'm going to stay with my very big statement I made. It was a slide, and it said, never underestimate the power of visibility. I'm going to repeat that. Never, ever, ever underestimate the power of visibility. Now, what does that mean? It means in your club. It means in your social media. Wherever you are, people are watching you. You are your brand, first and foremost. You are. And whatever corporate company you belong to, Toastmasters, organizations, whatever you identify with, whatever you are known to be part of, remember to behave in accordance with things like core values. And remember to uphold so many of those kind of brand kind of ideas, brand specific protocols, because you are carrying that brand and you are your brand and people are watching you 24/7. And that, to me, if I could give you one thing in life, that takeaway, the other you've already done. The 3 keys to success, as I did earlier with the VPM training at TOOLKIT today, the 3 keys to success, club success, life success, 3 things: energy, passion, and number 2, communication. Very important in any communication in a club, relationships, that relations with others, as Michael mentioned. And number 3, convert the ordinary to the extraordinary. You can take a Toastmaster club, as I explained to the VPMs earlier. There are plenty of Toastmaster clubs, but what makes your club the club I want to visit? Why does it stand out? Make sure you're doing the things, the necessary things, out there in all the platforms, in all the areas of your life. Make sure that you're a good spokesperson for your own life and for that in which you represent. And make sure to remember that never underestimate the power of visibility. Thanks to both of you.
Thank you, Lucinda, for that. Yes, absolutely. The power of visibility and transforming the ordinary into extraordinary. I can say, Maud, I think you'll agree with me. I'm definitely speaking for both of us. Every single facilitator on this PR for Success Masterclass series transformed the ordinary into extraordinary. And that is where the success and the accolades for PR for Success comes from. Ordinary to extraordinary. And it took a lot of hard work. Joanne and I spent many we've become very good friends just from PR for Success because we spoke so much. How about this? Should we leave that out? This is important, but I think I need to say these things. And Joanne had, I feel like we shortchanged her because there was so much she had to say, and there's so little that time that she had, like 20 minutes, I think. And now we're doing it to her again because we're saying, you only have 2 minutes, Joanne. Give it to us. It's all yours.
Thanks so much. Thanks, Maud and Zakia. You know, this being part of this PR for Success was amazing. I'm loving the roller coaster ride through the snippets, and I definitely want to visit a whole lot. Absolutely loving it. I could wax lyrical, but I think that what we've to remember in building in the relationships with these people out there to bring them into our clubs, remember your target audience, have that power, and be succinct. I tend to wax lyrical, as I say. So I really have learned to pull back and make sure what I'm asking, I want people to say, I want to be like that. I want to do that. And in all things, be authentic. Showcase your authenticity and your credibility. And then in the interest of my 2 minutes, Just before I came down, I wrote something that I wanted to share with you. I joined to learn more about success in PR. All sessions were brimful and fully 5-star. We learned to create copy to engage and excite, using pictures and words for the perfect invite. Zakia and Maud gave us energy and awesome insights. Facilitators took us spinning to reach new heights. JP, Lucinda, Yonella, and me, as a team, shared tips and ideas to get you to dream. I'm so grateful to have played a very small part, but I wish you all the best with all of my heart. And that, I think, sums it up for me. So thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this.
Thank you, Joanne. Yep, that Joanne used all the language of a journey was purely coincidental. When I say we were in sync, I mean that is evidence of that. I was privileged to be witness to the amount of work this group put in. And I'm so thankful to all 4 of you for bringing your A game and more to this session, to both Masterclass 6 and 7. And it wasn't just the 2 hours that you were there, but you were there from December till February. Thank you. We are our heartfelt gratitude for your time, your effort, your expertise, Joanne and Lucinda, that you are here, and to JP and to Yonella, who are not here.
A virtual round of applause, please, for distinguished Toastmasters Lucinda Harmon, Joanne Smith, JP Gernot, as well as Yonella Mutluing. Masterclass 8 was all about promoting club in your community. Lance Miller already spoke to us about that. And we ended off last month speaking about handing over the baton to your successor. It was all about setting them up for success. At this time of the year, we're all planning to hand over the baton to our successor. But it's a process involved. You don't just hand over. Just like how you had to plan for success, you also have to plan on how you're going to hand over to your successor. And so Netsai Pinge came back from Masterclass 2 and spoke to us about how do we plan to hand over the baton for success. If you missed that Masterclass last month, here's a short snippet to take you through that session.
We must 9.
I've just realized that I missed a session. So Toastmasters, we're going to take a little bit of a step back. Masterclass 9 was all about the practicality of public relations, the what, where, how to take all this information that you learn about public relations and use it in your personal and professional life. We had the honor of hosting distinguished Toastmaster Andrew Tsuro, who is a past public relations manager, as well as Yonella Mutlung on that particular masterclass. It was held in April. If you missed that one, here's a short snippet of what took place.
I want to tell you that really, our daily efforts that are intentional, that are based on a clear vision and working towards a specific goal, which we know will take us to where we want to get to. Never underestimate your role as VPPR. You are very important, as I've been saying throughout, but your efforts should not be all over, but they need to stay intentional. They need to be clear, you need to know where you're going, and you need to stay focused.
Do you believe that the world needs more leaders, more speakers, more confident people? If you are like me and you believe this, then you know that you and I have a huge responsibility as brand ambassadors of a place where leaders are made. It is our responsibility to ensure that we understand what the world needs and we do our service to mankind by ensuring that the world knows about Toastmasters.
Yep, that is our responsibility. Andrew and Yonella have phenomenal success with their own clubs, And we thought we would really be shortchanging PR for Success if we did not invite them on. They came, they delivered, they brought their A game, they turned the ordinary into extraordinary for Masterclass 9. Andrew and Yonella, we are so eternally grateful to both of you for being here, for helping us with the renewal season, with membership, for building stronger clubs, and for adding to this database of PR knowledge that District 74 is putting out there onto YouTube for all of the existence of YouTube, I would say. Thank you so much for that. And then our final masterclass, Masterclass 10.
The one that I spoke about prematurely, handing over the baton for your successor, but you need to plan for a Toastmasters. If you fail to have a plan on how you're going to hand over to your successor, you're not setting them up for success. And they say success is in the succession. You are not successful as a leader until the one who comes after you is. And so you have a moral responsibility to make sure that your successor is as successful as you were. If you missed that masterclass with Netsai Pinge and myself, here's a short snippet to take you down memory lane.
And some of you may ask, why should we hand over? Obviously, we want the successor to be clear about the responsibilities and tasks ahead. We want them to prepare for the tasks ahead so that they are not shocked that there's this big thing outstanding. They are clear and they are prepared of the tasks ahead. And we want the VPPR to have a base to start from, a clean slate to start from. And this, like I said, it ensures a smooth transition. There will be no confusion. So by handing over properly, by taking the appropriate steps, it will be as if nothing happened. So all your years' hard work will also not go in vain. There will be someone to carry that over into the next year. So it is still benefits you as well as an individual. And it will also ensure that important activities are not missed or skipped in error, because there will be a document that shows that this is supposed to be done and by when. And this also makes the successor feel supported. The new person, the new VPPR, will feel it. Nothing beats the feeling that you know that there's a big brother behind you. If you are going to be in trouble, you know that the old person is going to come in and chip in and help you to succeed. So this is why we want to ensure that we all hand over successfully and smoothly.
That is the responsible thing to do. Hand over to our successors something that they can build on. That is immensely important. I think we have contributed and helped out our current VPPRs because they have a playlist to hand over to their successors in addition to that document, in addition to all their personal expertise, all their learnings. There is this database, and there's a resource full of good examples of good posts and advertising and posters that are brand right in the South African Toastmasters group, where we have dedicated posts every week for club events. And that itself was a learning. You could go there, look there and see, I can look at a post and say, this club doesn't attract me. But more importantly, I could look at so many posts and say, I want to go to this one. I want to be there. Because in addition to brand right, they took to heart the effective messaging that was shared and they put it out there. So our successors have so much to take with them. They're not jumping in the deep end. This is a learning organization and we have provided learning resources. Nitsai, thank you so much for making your time available and coming back a second time to build on your previous session of planning for success to succession planning. Yeah, that's it, right? Okay, how are you all feeling? We are back here to the 26th of June 2021. Don't you love time travel in the times of a pandemic, people? We can go all over the place and be right here without actually moving.
We're going to hear a bit more from a few of our other delegates. Remember, this program was not about us, it was all about you. And so it's important that we hear from our delegates what value they found from the program, if any. And so I'm going to ask a few other members of PR for Success to share their experience on the program with us. And I'm going to start with our incoming administration manager. She's from a club called Vital Communicators. It's based in Pretoria, South Africa. She is Distinguished Toastmaster Lynette Vermaak. Over to you, Lynette.
Good evening, everybody. And Maud, thank you so much for the opportunity. And thank you so much for the learnings that we have taken out of PR for Success. I have tried my very best to attend all of them, and I've missed one or two, but I certainly have benefited from what you've learned or what you've been teaching. And I think the most important thing that the PR for Success has managed to do is it has removed the fear factor. We sit here and we're really not sure how to go about PR, and we're hesitant and fearful. And PR for Success has managed to remove the fear factor for all of us by giving us the guidelines and telling us what to do and where to look for the support. And now it's up to us to just get on with it. And that's what you've enabled, because the support to do the job has been there. There's a lot of support in everything, and the resources and the groups to be able to assist us with what we wanted to do. And I think my most important takeaway from PR for Success was to create your own persona. Create your persona for your business if you're marketing and doing PR for your business, or create your persona for your club. And once you've done that, it gives you a direction of where to go and which media channels to use and how to really just pick it up and get on with it.
Thank you so much to you, Lynette, for sharing your story. We're so blessed to hear that you also found value from the program and that you will be continuing this or letting your successor know about PR for Success so that we can also set them up for the journey that lies ahead. You know, I'm so passionate about corporate clubs. I don't know why, but I had to bring the corporate clubs as part of this experience. And so I'm going to hand over to a brand ambassador who's from a corporate club. Her name is Njabulo Thela. She's all the way from Old Mutual Harare in Zimbabwe. Njabulo, could you please turn on your video, unmute yourself, and please share your experience with the members of PR for Success. Over to you, Njabulo.
Thank you, and good evening, Maud, Zakia, and fellow Toastmasters. My experience during my tenure as VP PR for Old Mutual Harare has been nothing short of amazing. Having been literally dragged into the post, I do not regret the day I begrudgingly said yes, because I felt I probably will not be able to do this. It turns out I was saying yes to development, growth, upskilling, knowledge gain, community expansion, and confidence elevation. The training we have received from Maud, Zakia, and the team has been extra special and cannot be taken for granted. Every meeting left me challenged and with a definite take home. I appreciate the privilege of having served my club, Old Mutual, and in extension, District 74, because in the end, truly, by serving, I became indeed distinguished. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Njabulo. Your words of your wishes really warmed our hearts, and we're so blessed to hear that you also found value from the program and that it empowered you for maximum impact, and you were able to take that impact and impart it to the members of Old Mutual Harare all the way in Zimbabwe. At this point, I'm going to hand over, or I'm now going to ask another distinguished Toastmaster. She's been a regular feature here on PR for Success. She's recently sponsored or started 2 Toastmasters clubs in Zimbabwe. She's a member of Lamore Toastmasters. It's all the way in Zimbabwe. Distinguished Toastmaster Zivai Matondo to please share her experience about PR for Success. Over to you, Zivai.
Thank you so much, DTM Maud, and thank you to Zakia for the opportunity that you availed to the members, to the VPPRs, to be equipped for that role. I've been a Toastmaster for 7 years, and the VPPR role is one I shy away from over the years. But I said to myself, I can't give what I don't have. So with the mentees that I have, they would ask me about the VPPR role, and I didn't know that much about it. So having been part of this PR for Success program really equipped me, gave me the resources that I needed to actually understand the role and to fulfill the responsibilities that I had. My favorite of the masterclasses was the power of personal story. Now, facts tell and stories sell. So learning how to give that powerful personal story enabled me to get people on board on my team on a project to start new clubs as part of my DTM project. And the results are showing. We have 2 clubs that were started in the month of March, and we have 1 more club which will be birthed before the 30th of June. So thank you so much. And in a minute, I can't say everything, but all I just want to say is thank you so much for that platform that you availed to us. Thank you, and back to you, Madam PR.
Thank you so much to you, distinguished Toastmaster Zivai Matondo, all the way from Zimbabwe, finding value from the PR for Success program. These are just a few of the delegates that we've showcased tonight. They are in the dedicated PR for Success WhatsApp group. But if you're here in the virtual audience and you want to share your experience with us, please do via the chat box. I'm sure it will give the incoming brand ambassadors just a little bit of inspiration to go and check out the YouTube channel, Toastmasters Southern Africa District 74. There's a playlist that's called PR for Success. All these masterclasses that we've shared a snippet of tonight are available there in their entirety. And that was PR for Success.
And I honestly, I can't think of what else needs to be said, because we've covered so much. We've heard from facilitators, we've heard from delegates. Now it's just time to get out there and implement. But before we go and do that, there are some people we want to recognize. Yeah?
Absolutely. For the sake of time, Toastmasters, we're not going to go through the entire list, but this program would not have been possible without you. We've been observing the social media pages, and we've had our ear on the ground, and there have just been some Toastmasters that have really, really stood out for us. And I want to recognize some of them. This list is not exhaustive. We will certainly be sending the certificates to you within the next day or two. When all of them came in my inbox, I got a little bit overwhelmed, and I told Zakia, we will just verbally recognize them. And once I'm able to put pen to all those certificates, we will get them to you in coming days. The journey as a leader never ends. And it was so lovely to see past district governors, district leaders, past and present on this program. One of them who I want to recognize is past District Governor Rob Douglas. He's been an amazing regular attendee of the program, getting benefits, using it for maximum impact. In fact, one of his clubs that he's a member of, CIS Toastmasters, became President's Distinguished about a day or two ago, all testaments to the hard work and dedication that him as well as the team has put in letting the world know about Toastmasters in the community. I'd also like to recognize Tawanda Mavumbi, Annelieswe Zumana, John Sebegeti, Maxine Mugabe, Dylan Pedro, Lebogang Mogolane, Sunaina Laka, and then some Toastmasters who have been very consistent in letting the world know about Toastmasters, especially externally using the media, as Dawn Hemming, Benjamin DeWitt, the leaders from West Rand Toastmasters, as well as Maurelise Mulder. And then the following Toastmasters have been consistently promoting their clubs across all available platforms. When we would put out that post on a Sunday morning, they were one of the first ones to jump on and let us know about their upcoming events. And we want to recognize them as we always do. So congratulations and well done to Leah Musunga, Terry Brooks, Nomazulu Mtetwa, Zivai Matondo, Distinguished Toastmaster, Wasim Fortain, Nikki Quinn, who's our immediate past district director. She's also a distinguished Toastmaster. Dawn Hemming, Tandi Wem-Geshane, and Maralise Mulder. This list is not exhaustive, Toastmasters, so we're going to be reaching out to all of you personally in coming days to congratulate you for all your hard work and your dedication and commitment to the PR for Success program. I believe we have a keynote speaker now.
We do. We certainly do. Our final curtain call. And since you have a long history with DTM Andrew Tsuro, Maud, I'm going to ask you to welcome him. But I just want to mention, for those of you who don't know who Andrew Tsuro is, I have a question for you. Why don't you know who he is? But for the sake of those who don't know, and I know that person doesn't exist, he is a past PR manager for District 74. He is the incoming Program Quality Director-elect and an emotional intelligence advocate, and he's the CEO of the Entrepreneurs Hub. He also, one more. He was also he also opened, and he was at the launch event for PR for Success, and so it only makes sense that he does the curtain call and closes the event. Okay, Maud, now you can say anything you want to say to Andrew.
Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters, he's already been spotlighted. Please welcome onto the virtual stage, distinguished Toastmaster, Andrew Tsuro. Yay. Over to you, Andrew.
I did not see it coming, but what I can tell you is it happened. Did you see it coming from your part? Where you would be that person who everywhere you go, people would recognize and say, I know you from somewhere. We've met before, haven't we? And imagine the embarrassment on my face when I actually don't remember. Where, when, how did we really meet? Fellow ambassadors, what you have gone through is an experience to help you become that recognizable brand that organizations, corporates, communities want to align with. Instead of going out there and people asking, who is that? Who is he? It is your opportunity to use the skills that you have developed to create a momentum of what it is that you want to be known for, recognized for, and engaged with. When we started PR for Success, I remember vividly us wanting to becoming the best brand ambassadors for this organization. And I believe in this process, we have done Toastmasters a world of good by representing its brand appropriately. This time around, it is now time for you to implement those skills for success. It is now time that we implement that social media strategy that we were taught a couple of months ago for our personal and professional brand. In teaching, you learn. In learning, you teach. It is now time for you to take those skills that you've learned and pass them over, not only to your successor, but to the people around you who you feel might need a little bit of touch-ups. And yes, this is the opportunity to do so. I did not see it coming, but it happened. I did not see ourselves getting to be where we are today. The success that we actually are celebrating today is a result of your consistent contribution towards the successful brand of the organization that we are all fond of and that we all have a heart for. And when we think about what then, what now, I want to think that you and I both recognize the skills, the array of skills that we've developed, that we've got in our hands. And now we need to utilize them. We need to make them we need to make them work for us, for our personal brand and our professional brand. In one session, I learned about the power and how to apply LinkedIn for our organization. And guess what? I've learned how to apply it for my personal benefit. Did it work? Of course it did. Do I look like I know what I'm doing? Of course I do. Where did I learn it? Here. In one session, I learned about the transferable skills that I could even apply in my business. Now, the PR person at the eHub is already challenged to apply skills. Where would they have learned them from? From our YouTube channel. When I couldn't attend an event, I would go to our YouTube channel and watch all these free but valuable lessons. We've all heard of the saying that not knowledge is power, but the applied knowledge is the power. But if you do not realize you've got the power, what use is it to have the power? Where I was born, there is a saying that says, "Amajodo awela abangelambiza." In the local translation, in my mother tongue, Mapudzi, anowira vasina mapoto. In English, if I were to really try and translate that, it would say pumpkins, the good pumpkins, are harvested by those who do not have the pots to cook them. You've got good pumpkins. You've got the pot. Why aren't you serving pumpkin for dinner? From here on, ambassadors, I want to challenge you to fill your cup and let your light shine. Let us see your brand and recognize it from a distance because you are part of this program. Let us see you monetizing or perhaps sharing it far and wide because you were part of this program. And if there's anything that we can do is to ensure that we remain ambassadors of PR for success. Because by implementing for success, we can change the scope of our communities, our cities, our country, our continent by the way we represent ourselves. You might have heard of the saying that image is everything. And in this world, perception is reality. How people perceive you is how people recognize you. You do not want to be that brand that gets into contact with people in a room and they still continue doing what they're doing because your impact is non-existent. Because of PR for Success, we can build strong, powerful, influential brands that are not only influential on social media based on the number of likes, but that challenge other people, other aspiring leaders to get on the bandwagon and be a change agent. If we are to work together, we are to create a formidable force that is definitely going to redefine our notion of what leaders from Africa are. And it starts with your personal brand. It starts with you looking into the mirror and seeing a formidable, powerful, and most importantly, influential brand. It is your opportunity to influence and make this world a better place. Maybe not for you, but for your siblings, your children, and the people who look up to you. Congratulations to each and every individual who was involved in PR for Success. I was a PR manager before. I know how challenging it was running with a PR role. And hence, I did not see it coming. But you made it happen. As we take our next steps forward, let's remember, it's about implementation for success. There are no two ways about it. We've got the pots, we've got the pumpkin. Let's serve pumpkin for dinner and enjoy it. When I'm public relations manager, program developer, and each and every facilitator, you and I have the opportunity to hold each and every brand ambassador accountable to becoming their own powerful brand ambassadors. And we can only do it if we are consciously letting our light shine so that we can inspire others to do the same. Congratulations. And like I said earlier, I didn't see it coming, but you made it happen. Congratulations, and over to you.
Not only did we go on a journey, but Andrew gave us dinner. Pumpkin for dinner tonight, people. We are. Yeah. Andrew, thank you so much for those words of inspiration. Heartfelt thank you for the acknowledgement. If we're not leading ourselves, we are being led. Who are we being led by, and are we going in the direction we want to be going? Andrew said it, our facilitators have said it, and we're saying it again. Implementation for success requires us to be ambassadors for PR for Success, for Toastmasters, and for the brand that we ourselves represent. And the whole intention of this program was so that we can be the best brand possible as individuals, as clubs, and therefore, by extension, as Toastmasters. Thank you so much, Andrew, for that. Where do we go next? Is this the end? Is this the end?
I don't know if it can ever be the end. Now, the urge was there for both of us to decide, we're done, we're tired, we're retiring. We don't want to see any Toastmasters, we just want to be members. But I don't know if that's really possible. And so I'm sure you're asking yourself, what's next? Check this video out, Toastmasters. I'm so excited for what's next. In fact, I always talk about corporate clubs. Now, I'm not from one, but I know the benefits that the Toastmasters program can unlock for corporates. And so I'm very excited to announce that I will be serving as your corporate relations manager in the upcoming Toastmasters year, responsible for all things corporate right here in Southern Africa. If you're from a corporate club, considering starting one, perhaps you're coaching a corporate club or want to in the upcoming Toastmasters year. Perhaps you're a district leader and you have corporates in your area or division. I want to hear from you as we together unlock the benefits of the Toastmasters program right here in Southern Africa. I'm so excited for what's next, and I cannot wait to hear from you as we together empower for maximum impact. Yes, Toastmasters, that is what's next. The journey continues. I've been talking about corporate clubs for the most part of this Toastmasters year, and the spirit inclined me to take on this challenge and be responsible for corporate clubs. And like I said in the video, if you're from a corporate club, maybe you're thinking of coaching a corporate club, want to start a corporate club, you're a district leader and you have corporate clubs in your area and division, I want to hear from you. So please do reach out to me. I'll drop my details in the chat box if you don't have it already, and let's continue empowering for maximum impact. So you're right, Zakia, the journey continues, it doesn't end. So we're not going to take a break, the journey continues. I'm so excited and I just can't hide it. But all good things must come to an end, and this is the end of PR for Success. Closing comments.
It is also the end of tonight's session, as much as I would hate for it to be, because I'm having so much fun. Are you having fun?
Absolutely.
Are you guys having fun? Are you? Yes, thank you. I see lots of thumbs up. Thank you. That is awesome. That was the plan. If it's not fun,
it's not Toastmasters.
It's not Toastmasters. And I think we lived up to that. I certainly felt the fun. I have to say it's not always fun. There's a lot of stress that goes into the day of PR for Success Masterclass, all 12 times. But at the end, it was fun and worth it, and that's why we kept coming back. Okay, I really don't want to go. Njabulo, you really made my job easier by mentioning people and thanking everybody for me. Thank you for that. So I'm going to rather cut it short and just put out a generalized, heartfelt thank you, first of all to Maud, and to Ofhani especially, because these are the pillars that kept me standing, I would say. And I think we were pillars for each other, yeah? And we kept each other standing. So that's what I want to shout out to. And then to all our facilitators who were there before, who came back today, to our delegates, to everybody who shared and encouraged everybody else to come. I am so eternally grateful. We are so eternally grateful. With that, I say, PR for success. You have successfully concluded, and we can now close.
But Toastmasters, as I always say, the journey doesn't end here. The program may be coming to the end, but the relationship does not. We are always contactable. We are there to assist and guide you, support you. Remember, we're handing over for success, and we're not going to just drop you because the program has come to an end. And so if you have any questions, comments, feedback that you want to share with us, we are just a phone call and email away. Yet again, I'll drop my details in the chat box. Let's continue engaging. Let's continue empowering for maximum success, and most importantly, let's continue to implement for success. It's been such an absolute honor bringing this program to you every single month since July 2020. Oh, it feels like a diploma at a university, but we've had so much fun. I want to also thank someone who became the engine of this program, and it's this lady sitting right next to me. Without Zakia, I would not have been able to execute this vision. It was a huge vision. I was nervous because I knew the task that lay ahead. And when I approached her, she said yes. And we were able to put together this masterpiece, or this showcase that we've been able to bring to you for a full year. So thank you so much to Zakia Ismail. In fact, a virtual round of applause to Zakia for all her hard work, dedication, and commitment. A reminder yet again, Toastmasters, that all these masterclasses are available on our YouTube channel, Toastmasters Southern Africa District 74. Please go through, make sure you tell your successor about these masterclasses so that we can continue empowering for maximum impact. We've had fun. I hope that you have, and we will see each other soon in the very, very near future. Until we meet again, please take care, be safe. We'll see you on the other side, District 74. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Public relations, a strategic communication process that builds mutually beneficial relationships between clubs, their members, and the public. The PR for Success is designed to help you do that, with impact and towards excellence. One masterclass a month, each focused on a different aspect of public relations and geared towards immediate implementation of skills, with a WhatsApp group that provides a supportive space. Some of the things that you will learn are the power of the Toastmasters brand and effective use of the PR toolkit. What about designing ads that wow, and creating and implementing a social media plan with effective use of the media? The PR for Success program, designed for VPPRs but open to all members and designed to help you take your PR skills to the next level. Are you ready?